Hello my beautiful babies, welcome back again to yet another wonderful tutorial in my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to achieve flawless complexion that is gonna glow and look dewy and luminous all day long just using the right products and the right techniques. My name is Joe Gomez and I welcome you back again, and this is your first time over here. We love everything that has to do with beauty and makeup. Make sure you subscribe before you continue watching the video. So if you want to learn how to make your foundation to look super glowy and dewy, please keep watching. Okay my babes, so the first thing that I do when I'm about to start the application for my foundation, today I really want to get a very luminous result and I really want my complexion to look moistured, glowy, and just very nice. If you already washed your face and it's already clean and you applied moisturizer or anything else, then you can skip this part. But if you haven't done it so far, now this would be the time. What I like to do is to grab a cotton pad, and I'm gonna be grabbing any micellar water that you may have. It could be also your favorite toner. It really doesn't have to be micellar water. Preferably would be micellar water. Today I'm gonna be using this one. This is La Roche-Posay Eau Micellaire Ultra or Micellar Water Ultra. This is only the sample size. I got it at the pharmacy where I usually get skincare. I usually like to get a lot of La Roche-Posay sunscreen, especially because this brand is really amazing for cleansers and also for SPF. So the first thing you want to do is just clean your face. Here, as you can see, I do have a little bit of concealer because I did my brows and my eye makeup, so that's why it's looking like this. And it looks super crazy, but I'm gonna be cleaning my face just to make sure I don't have, any extra products, no dirt, no dust, no nothing, but actually my skin is as clean as it can be. I applied moisturizer, a lot of different products in the morning. The first step for your foundation is going to be the preparation for your skin. Remember, every single time you're going to do something, you need to prepare your face so that it can absorb and receive the products in a nicer way, and the application is going to be smoother and your foundation will last long. You're gonna continue with a moisturizer, okay? That's gonna be super important. Recently, I discovered this one and I actually like it. This is the Smashbox Primerizer. This is a mini version. I bought it in a kit at Sephora a while ago. I honestly like it because it's really light. It's a moisturizer, but it's really light and it doesn't feel, like too heavy for the skin, especially now that we really want to accomplish and achieve that glowy, dewy foundation effect we're looking for. I'm gonna grab about 3 pumps. This amount, okay, it's almost like an almond size, as you can see.
I'm gonna gently rub it all over my face, of course, on all the areas where I do not have makeup. The only place where I have makeup is above my brows because I did apply the concealer to clean them up. This is a step I really like to do.
To sharpen my brows and to actually make them look, more precise, cleaner. I hope you can see that my skin absorbed the moisturizer super quickly, and that's because I'm not dehydrated. I think that this is because this moisturizer is just light and gentle on the skin. My skin is super sensitive, so I don't like to squeeze my pimples or anything, otherwise I'm gonna get texture. I really struggle with sensitive skin. It also can be a combination of oily with dry. I mean, it's crazy. It really has to do a lot with the season and with the time of the year that we're at. Right now that is spring, but it's rainy a little bit, so it's gonna get dry in certain areas, and then I'm gonna get super oily on my T-zone and I'm gonna get breakouts. And as you can see, I do have a lot of redness all over my face, even though I use a lot of products to balance that out and actually to fight against the redness. It is what it is. You need to work with that. The next step that I'm gonna do is actually go for my first primer. So you can just use one primer if you want to, but the reason why I like to use different primers is because different primers are targeted for different things. So the first one that I'm gonna be going for is this one. Is called the Essence Prime Studio. This is the mattifying and pore reducing one with redness correcting technology. This one has green clay. I want you guys to see if it actually does anything for my redness. You know, it's a good primer. If you forgot to put any moisturizer, you can go directly to this one, and I'm gonna apply about the same size. Remember, this may seem like a lot when it comes to a primer, but I only use this amount when it comes to primers that are formulated in form of a cream. So that's gonna give me a nicer canvas to work with. And always try to apply your products from the center of your face and then go outwards. Follow the perimeter of your face. Your hands do need to be super clean when applying anything on your face, especially your fingers. And on the areas where I really like the primer to fill in my pores, I'm gonna be just pressing but not rubbing. I've discovered that particularly with this primer, if you rub it too much, you're gonna have that nasty ball-up effect that no one likes to, and it starts to separate and it doesn't look as good. Wait a little bit between the application of your product. Do not jump directly into the application of the next product. You need to wait a little bit until your skin sinks in all of those products, until you feel them set, to say something. They feel super nice. And I actually do think, I don't know, maybe you're gonna be able to tell me, I do believe that it actually does something for my redness. I don't know if it's true or it's psychological, but I do really like this one a lot. We have other versions. I also happen to have here, this is the mattifying and pore refining. There it is. This is really good as well. These are super affordable. They're less than $5 and you can actually find them at any drugstore. Essence as a brand is amazing. I've been trying out a lot of different products from them and I'm just in love with it. So it's time to move on to the next step when it comes to prepping and priming my face. This is new to me. This is the first time that I'm gonna be using it, and this is by, I believe it is a Mexican brand. I think it's Ebly, and this is the Pearl Primer Pores Zero. I really like the packaging. I think it's super nice and sleek. Claims that it's gonna last you up to 18 hours oil-free and a smoother application. This is the exact dupe when it comes to texture to this one. I don't know yet how it will perform. I'm gonna let you know. This is the photo finish by Smashbox. This is a mini version. I got it in a kit that came with this one, the primerizer, this one, and also the primer water. This one is also really good. I'm gonna use the one pump. Usually with these primers that are silicone based, you don't want to go too ham or too crazy, otherwise you're going to clog your pores. My personal opinion is that do not reach out for this as often as you would for other products, because this might be pore clogging for some people. You don't want that. I'm going to distribute the product on my fingertips, and then I am going to apply it only on the areas there. Wow, it smells so good. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that baby smell. It smells like baby lotion.
So good.
Pressing motions on the areas where you have your pores a little bit more enlarged or visible. This is a trick that I've picked from. Right now, I don't remember who was it. They said that if you have a lot of texture or lines under your eyes, you can actually use what's left on your fingertips to smooth that zone out. It might work. So I always like to do that. And then the rest, I'm gonna be applying it on my cheeks and my jaw. I shaved today, but still I have that showing through. I don't like that. I personally don't like that, babes, but you have no idea how many IPL treatments I've gone through and they just don't work. It's coming out and growing, and I have a lot of patches, as you can see. Oh, look at that skinny neck. I do have a lot of patches where the actual hair is not growing anymore, but I still have a little bit of a mustache, a lot of hairs, especially on my chin and a little bit on the sides. I actually have a very cool device that I've talked about on my IG, and I'm planning to do a video with my personal experience, the Lumea Prestige or Lumia, I don't even know how to pronounce that, I'm gonna look it up, but I think it's Lumea Prestige by Philips, and that device promises to get rid of your body hair and also your facial hair. So far, well, wait for the video, I'm gonna let you know all the tea. Now my face is primed. A little bit of the primer was separating here. Nothing major, but I actually do like the application and I do like the way my skin is looking. It's time to go for the meaty part of the video that happens to be the foundation application. I'm gonna be going with this foundation that is gonna be today's star of the show, and this is gonna be the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation in shade number 9, neutral, warmer on my skin, especially during this month. I always like to look a little bit more tan. This one does not come with a pump. Unfortunately, that is one of the things that I personally do not love in a foundation. I tend to gravitate more towards foundation like this one. This is by Oriflame Cosmetics, and this one actually, you can see that it has a pump. I like this one better. More full coverage or more coverage. And this one is buildable, but I've noticed that the more you build, the more texture, and I really love this foundation for natural foundation days, but today I actually want to have something that's going to show up a little bit more on my skin. So this one, you do have to open it like this, and then you're going to grab this doe foot applicator, and I like to go with 3 swaps on my face. Right now I'm only looking at the screen on my camera. I'm applying 1, 2, 3 over there, and I like to start blending the sides of my face first. A lot of people would argue that this is not very sanitary because you're gonna be using of that applicator that was, you know, just like all over. But if it's for personal use, I think that it doesn't matter. You can actually work with it. It's totally personal preference. I've already dipped my sponge. Today I'm gonna go with the Real Techniques one, and this is actually clean and damp and it already feels super squishy. So I always like to start pressing the foundation against my face. One of the most common mistakes that I've noticed from people when doing their foundation is actually to drag the product. You don't want to do that because you put other products underneath. So the more you pull, the more you drag, you're gonna be getting rid of those products as well, especially the primer. So you do wanna press in the foundation on your face. If you happen to watched RuPaul's Drag Race, you know that all the queens always suggested to press foundation on your skin. I'm gonna be going on my neck. Do you wanna be super careful? I'm wearing white. It's one of my favorite shirts. So please do not neglect your jawline, and also do not neglect your ears, your neck, jawline. It's terrible when you have that mask effect and people can actually tell when the foundation ended and where your natural skin is showing. I always like to go on my neck with a little bit more foundation. I'm just making sure that I have the application that I want, and everything else I'm just putting it on my face. With this foundation particularly, you do need to be careful, otherwise if you apply too much, makes your skin texture a little bit more visible. And of course, it's time for me to go on my nose, and I always like to grab the product and just grab 2 pumps, apply it there. The same goes for my forehead. I do have a little bit of a forehead. Grab it one more time. I like to go on the sides of my face. I'm gonna dip it one more time. It's not a swab, it's actually a dip. Sometimes if I do not pronounce words correctly or sentences, well, it might be the case that I got nervous, but you can of course give me your feedback and your suggestions, and I will be happy to take them as long as they're super nice and respectful. You know, this is a community of love, my baby, so there's no need to be rude or harsh with anyone. We're here to learn, to have a good time, so you can relieve a lot of stress from work and life. And you know, my beauty space is all about that. I always want you to feel comfortable, happy, safe, super happy that you can come back to my channel, and there's always gonna be something positive, something good, something that actually is gonna make you feel like coming back again. You know, that to me is super important, not only as a content creator, but also as a person. I think that the more comfortable you feel watching something, doing something, the better it is for you, your audience. And I just like to grab the edges of my sponge to blend all of those hard to reach areas. But as you can see, I do not apply foundation underneath my eyes just because I'm gonna be covering that area with concealer anyway. So there's no need to create more texture or to apply more products when there's no need for that. Grab the tip of your sponge, and I like to go between my brows because I do have some space over there to the sides of my nose, almost on that area where my eyeshadow is finishing and my natural skin is showing through. This may seem repetitive. How many times am I going back and forth and again to press the foundation? I found out that the more you blend your products, all products, whether if it's foundation, eyeshadows, the better result you're gonna have out of your foundation. Okay, so that's totally personal preference. Do not mind to go a little bit on the hairline so you can blend that foundation in. One area that sometimes people forget is the sides of your nose, and this is where your foundation is more likely to crease or just to cracks. Be careful when it comes to blending this part, your nostrils. Sometimes it happens to me that even though I trim the hairs on my nose, foundation comes in or powder, and it looks like if I had giant hairs. But I promise you guys, those are not boogers, those are my natural hairs. I do trim them, you know, but they grow fast. I think I'm happy with the application. This would be the time to go with concealer, and that's what I'm gonna do next. You're gonna grab your concealer, any concealer you want, in order to get this very smooth and dewy and glowy application of the foundation. You do need to go for a foundation that's gonna be a little bit more on the natural finish, not so matte. You're gonna end up with a matte version of. If you feel more comfortable with matte foundations, you can totally go for that. But I really like the dewy effect. As you can see, my face looks glowy. It looks more skin-like, you know, more natural, fresh, radiant, and that's what I'm all about, especially during the spring and the summer. Now, I'm gonna go with concealer, the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer by Too Faced in shade Marshmallow. This is such a good concealer. You can do different things with this one. You can conceal, contour, highlight, and retouch your foundation. And the level of coverage in this one is a little bit crazy, babes. Careful about that. The way I apply my concealer, it only goes like this. I'm gonna be applying it there, and then I like to apply a little bit on the outer edge of my eyes, on the outer corner, just so that I can lift my eye and my look. And actually I was supposed to start this way, a little bit here, and then the rest goes here. As you could see, I didn't dip in my product 2 times just because this concealer, it is actually full coverage. It has a very nice coverage, and you don't want to have a lot of that. Then I'm gonna go on my forehead. I just like to apply this amount, and whatever's left, I always put it on the bridge of my nose. My nose is uneven. I do have a bump on this side of my nose. One day we're gonna talk about that, but in the meantime, I'm just showing you what I do on my face and what actually works for me, you know? So I'm gonna apply one more dip on my chin, like that. This is actually a very cool trick. On the other side as well. And I know that it looks too white, but it isn't white. This is a very light vanilla shade. It's like a beigey vanilla shade. Very creamy, that's why I like it. We're gonna start blending because I do like to have a very bright under eye. So I'm gonna start blending all the way underneath my eyes. Then I'm gonna be pulling this concealer. I want you to see the difference between this side and this one that is already a little bit more blended. It is not that important to go super close to my lower lash line because I'm gonna be applying shadows there anyway, but I do take my time to blend this concealer. I'm only blending one side of my face because I want you babes to see the difference this makes. Once you apply the light for my nose, I do concentrate the product on the center of the nose. The way you grab your sponge is actually important. This area, I'm gonna be blending it, pulling it out on the outer perimeter of my face, where my bronzer and my contour will marry together. Do not worry too much if foundation or concealer ruined the ending of your shadows, because we're gonna be going back to that and we're gonna fix it, especially if you worked first on your eyes. So what do you think about the result on this side of the face? When I apply the rest of my products, it's gonna look even better. I'm gonna do that off camera. This product and the application. I know that it looks a little bit too bright, but I'm gonna be balancing it out by applying my other products, and the first one is gonna be setting powder. Any setting powder might work for this, but of course you wanna use the one that you like best. In my case today, I'm gonna be working with the Mercier translucent setting powder. This is a staple product in every makeup artist kit or any beauty lover out there. There we go. This is the translucent setting powder. Or I set my under eye. I always like to go again with my sponge. I do have under eye lines. I think everyone does, but especially the secret for the foundation to look super glowy and natural is to set with a little bit of powder. And just the tiniest bit of powder, I actually want to show you. I'm gonna be dipping my brush in and I'm gonna be tapping the excess of powder, and then I'm gonna be going on my under eye to set my concealer. And with that same powder, I'm gonna be setting the sides of my nose. Set your concealer. I want to take this moment to kindly ask you to please not forget to follow me on my other socials. I'm gonna be more active there, I promise. Right now my focus is really Instagram and YouTube, just because those are my favorite social media platforms. But I'm gonna be uploading TikToks and Twitter. I'm gonna be greeting you every single day on Twitter. I have really cool things planned for the future. Be a little patient, please. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, please give me your feedback, your comments, your recommendation. What do you want to see on my channel? What would you like to see? What kind of tutorials? I mean, I'm doing the basics right now, like foundation, eyes. Those are things that a lot of people do take for granted. I do think it's important to go back to the basics so you can have a better makeup application. You know, that's just what I think, what I feel, because my channel is for everyone. A beginner, makeup, or a super pro, and maybe there would be a tip or two, or just have a good time. And I actually want to receive some personal questions from you. What would you like to know about me, so that I can be dropping a few answers of those questions here and there on my upcoming videos. Now it's time to go to contour and bronzer. Since this is a spring look, I don't want to be contouring just like a crazy person. I'm just gonna be bronzing the face, and I want to do a completely in-depth contour tutorial. This bronzer is really what's gonna give you that very nice warmth back into the skin. For bronzer, I'm gonna be going with this one. What you're gonna do next, dip in your product. I like to dip 3 times, just touch it like this, remove the excess, and just carve out all of those natural areas where you would have shade. So I would just start here, just right where your ear starts up to your eye. I don't want to be too harsh. This is going to be more glowy, bronzy, whatever's left. I'm going to be bronzing my ears. My jawline, I'm going to be grabbing one more time. Tap out the excess of your brush. The same goes for eyes. And I'm going to be chiseling my jawline, and I'm going to be working my way up to my forehead, and I like to start my application on the sides of my face. I always like to drag my powders up just so that they would give me this very nice uplifted and appearance. When you have uneven features on your face, it's gonna be a little bit more tricky and difficult to work with them, but of course it is possible. My bronzer brush is this one by Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, ex-Jaclyn Hill, the JH02. I like it because it's really dense and it's really big, so you can actually disperse the product in a very, very nice way. Now I'm gonna go with my nose, and what I do is just I lick it on the sides of my nose. This is gonna give me such a contoured, very warm shade without looking super harsh, because actually this is more natural. If you want, you can go back and brighten everything up with a little bit more of the translucent powder. Right now I just want to use this one, and what I do is that I actually apply a little bit more the side of my nose, just because here's where I have my bump, the bump that I hate on my nose, that actually one day I'm gonna correct it, you know? I'm gonna have it done or changed or something. Whatever's left on my brush, I like to drag it on my lower lip. This would give me the illusion that I have bigger lips. I'm contoured. One side of my face, it has more dimension, it has all the right shadows and all the right areas with the light, so it looks a little bit more flattering, whilst this one looks just a little bit more flat. I'm gonna go and do the other side of camera, and I'll be back in no time. One of the final steps before we finish our beautiful makeup for today is gonna be blush. I'm gonna be using this palette. This is the Cheek Leaders by Benefit. Such a good palette. I actually want to get it back. I've been using and abusing out of this one. Has been really well loved. As you can see, I've already finished the Hoola bronzer, already finished the Gold Rush blush, just because that's one of my favorite ones. That's very luminous. Today we're going to be working with Coralista. That's a very pretty corally beachy shade, and I'm gonna be applying it using Jaclyn Hill. I know I have a lot of Jaclyn Hill brushes, just because Jaclyn Hill, I love you girl, shout out to you. I really like her collaborations, some of them. It's a little bit controversial to talk about it, but these brushes are super cute, and I just love the white handles. ColourPop has some like this, so I'm planning to get maybe ColourPop's white handle brushes, just because they're super pretty, and I'm gonna be dipping into the pan. Won't be applying it just like on the apples of the cheek, because I really want to have more lifted effect, so I'm gonna be working it in an upward position. You can see this one has a little bit of reflex, so I like to mix it in with whatever is left on the pan of the Gold Rush, just because I do like blushes with just a little bit of sparkle, nothing major, and go on the other cheek. Remember, never apply your brush directly on the apples of the cheeks, because you're gonna be dragging your face down. You always want to go just above your contour, just like this, and upward. Wow, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is almost the end of today's makeup tutorial. So now we're gonna set our face with setting spray before we apply highlighter. That's gonna be a major tip that I'm gonna give you today. This is gonna be the All Nighter by Urban Decay. Such a good one, also a classic, a staple makeup product. And I'm gonna be drenching my face, just because I really wanna get rid of all of those extra powders on my face. Asia's Volume 2, you guys. My camera just overheated. I had to wait for a little bit. I had to finish my makeup off camera. Either way, it's not that important, my babies, because I was gonna do my lips and the rest of my eyes off camera, but I saved the last step.
It's just to set her face with this all-nighter, so I'm gonna do that, even though I already applied a little bit. I'm just covering my eyes, sorry, I don't want to ruin my lashes.
I wanted to show you how luminous and dewy everything looks, and we don't even have highlighter on. That is gonna be the final step. I don't want to go too crazy, because this look is already looking a little bit more dramatic than what I was expecting, but that might be because my eyeshadows are a little bit bright. Of course, I decided to go for this reddish and then brown and then champagne color on my inner corner, and I decided to use brown liner and then a bronzy liner on my waterline. But now we're gonna go with the final touch, and that's gonna be highlighter. Go back to the same palette. This is Cookie by Benefit. Such a beautiful highlighter, and I'm gonna grab this brush. This is the number 4 by KVD Beacon Beauty, the highlighter brush. I'm just gonna swirl
over here, tap up the excess, and I'm just gonna go lightly on the sides of my face. I don't really want to swipe the product just to break it and to have it even more intense. I just want to swipe it. Then I'm gonna go on the tip of my nose. This is something that I always do. This is a little bit like my signature move when I'm doing my makeup.
The final step for this dewy look is whatever is left on your brush, and just apply it here on the sides of your forehead, almost on the temples. Just like this, very nicely, very gently, also on the bridge of the nose, and then you and I are done. I can't believe this face looks super put together, and I just liked the look very much. The extra tip that I promised to give you is to grab a makeup removing wipe and just remove your bandana, go on the sides just like this, and gently start to remove all of the excess of product you may have left on your hairline. Sorry if I'm getting in the way, so you can go back to have your nice natural hair color, and we can get rid of all of that extra foundation that was on our forehead. And trust me, this is a very simple trick, but you have no idea how life-changing it is. I'm gonna go away for a few minutes to fix my hair and come back with the final look. This is the final look. I'm super happy with the result. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, activate the bell so you can get all the notifications every single time that I will be uploading new videos on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to also follow me on my socials. They're gonna be here, there, somewhere over here. And just enjoy life, be kind to others, and you and I have a date very soon. Bye!